October, my friends and I decided to be world travelers and go to Turkey, but we didn't know anyone in Turkey. So we decided to look at our friends' Facebook and see if they knew anyone in Turkey. So when we came across this man named Paul. And Paul was an eccentric individual, and we were not brave enough to go couch surfing. So Paul was like our one thing we could do. So we were like, all right, we called our friend Muhammad, who knew Paul because they went to school together in Egypt, and we were like, all right, so we want to go to Turkey and we want to stay with Paul because we want to, you know, get off the beaten trail. And he was like, all right, stay with Paul. He's awesome. He has a Turkish girlfriend named Shagara, which isn't her real name. We just gave her that nickname. In Arabic, it means tree. So we're like, okay, we're going to stay with them. They're awesome. So we get to Turkey, and Paul had written us what must have been like a 4-page Facebook message about what to do in Turkey. I don't read. I mean, I should read, but I don't. And I didn't read it. So Minna and my friend Neda both read it, but they didn't tell me what it said. So we go, and we get there the first day after, like, getting yelled at by an old Turkish man because we took the wrong bus and we were yelling. And unfortunately, or fortunately, everyone in Turkey thought I was Turkish, so they would start speaking to me in Turkish, and I didn't understand any Turkish. And they would get mad when I'd say I spoke Arabic, and they were, like, not having it. So it took us about 4 hours to get to Paul's place. And we arrived, like, at 7 o'clock in the morning, and we got there around, like, 2. So that's probably more than 4 hours, I don't know. But we finally got there, and Paul lives at the top of, like, this huge, like, must have been, like, huge hill on the European side of Istanbul. So we get there, and we are lugging up our bags, and, like, Minna has this huge bag, and I had traveled quite a bit, so I knew to bring, like, a duffel bag that was also rolly, and Neda had this huge, huge bag, and we looked like 3 idiots. So we get to Paul's, and we have breakfast, and Paul's like, what do you guys want to do? And we're like, we don't know, why don't we go to a Turkish bath? And he was like, okay, I'll take you to the Asian side of Istanbul, and you can have, like, an authentic Turkish bath, not one that's, like, in, like, the touristy area. We're like, awesome. So Paul, Ned, and myself, and Minna could take the ferry, cross the river, and get to the Asian side. And Paul is a talker. Like, I mean, the world's most talkative person. So what we would do was one of us, usually me and either Neda or Minna, would, like, make sure the other one got stuck talking to Paul, and we'd, like, back up and let her talk. So it's around, like, 5 o'clock, and we get to the Turkish bath, and it's really, like, this indiscreet place. Like, you wouldn't pick it out from anything. It's by some architect, and I should know that because I studied architecture, but I don't know anything. So we get there, and he starts speaking to them in Turkish, and it's the women's side and the men's side. So we get to the women's side, and he's telling them, you know, in Turkish that we want a Turkish bath, and there's 3 of us, and da-da-da-da. So we get inside, and now there's 3 Turkish women, older women, and us 3, and they don't speak any English, and we don't speak any Turkish. So they're talking to us, and they take us to a room, and the older woman just starts pulling down her bra, and she keeps showing us her breast. And me and Minna's like, what is she doing? What is she doing? And I was like, I think she wants us to take off our bras. And we're like, no, 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 we're not taking off our bras. And so Minna and Neda were smart enough to bring bikinis. I was not. So I was like, okay, whatever, I'll just, like, get a strapless bra. And girls know, like, strapless bras aren't like cotton. They're like, their fabric can, like, handle water. It's almost like a bikini, but not really. So I had that, and I was like, that's going to work, I'll be fine. So, you know, we all are in our tops and our bottoms, and we go into a big bath. And the bath is like this huge octagon stone thing, and then on the side it has like little fountains, and it's like a sauna. So we're all just sitting there, and she's like, she told us to rinse off, and we were like, okay, oh man, I'm not even done. Oh God. I will run over. I will. So we get inside, and finally they tell us to rinse off, and we're all sitting on there, and the first person, the little chubby woman comes in with a bra and underwear, and she takes Neda. And Neda's this small little skinny girl, and she's like telling Neda to take off her bra. And Neda's like, no, 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 I'm not taking off my bra. So she scrubs Neda, and she like does it really hard, and it's really, their Turkish baths are amazing. Cleans her up. So then Neda's done, and it's my turn. And I was like, fuck it. So I took off my bra. Hopefully my clothes is loose enough. So then I get scrubbed or whatever, and Neda goes to the next woman. It's this younger woman who's like in her 30s, and she comes in topless and just with her panties. And so she tells Neda to take off her bra, and Neda won't take off her bra. And so she's like, take it off, and she won't. So Neda, she scrubs Neda, and she pulls her a wedgie, slaps her butt, pulls down her underwear, and puts it back on, and sends Neda on her way. It was very weird. So then, it was my turn, and at this point, Minna had gone to the little chubby woman, and I was that woman who was like, boobs everywhere. And she's scrubbing me, and all of a sudden, I'm like laying down on my back, and I'm sorry, this is so inappropriate, but she grabs my boobs, and she starts fondling them, and calls Neda to look at me, and I was like, what's going on? I was like, what's going on? I'm like freaked out. I was like, no, you gotta stop. So then she scrubs me or whatever, does whatever she does, pulls me away, she slaps my butt, and sends me away. And I was like, okay, this is clearly her way of doing things. And me and Ned are just sitting like, what the hell's going on? And then Minna goes, and I was like, please God, because my history with massages are, whenever I go with someone, I tell them what happens, and they're like, no, that didn't happen to me. And I'm like, what do you mean that didn't happen? And like, I was like, so I had a really bad history with massages. It was like, something isn't going good for me. Like, this isn't good. So I was like, please let it happen to Minna. Please let it happen to Minna. And sure enough, it happens to Minna. She calls her attention, fondles Minna's boobs a little bit, and then pulls Minna away. She sends her on her way and slaps her butt. And as she's rinsing Minna off because you're covered in soap, me and Neda are talking, she takes a bowl of lukewarm water, mind you it's a sauna so it feels freezing, and throws it at me and Neda across the room, and we're like, what the hell's going on? And she keeps doing it. So then I was like, F this, I take a bowl, Neda takes a bowl, and we get into a full-on water fight with these two women. And I mean, you got Minna topless, me topless, one of the masseuse ladies topless, and Neda and the other lady in their bras. And we're just running around like this is the best thing. We finish finally. We go in chains, we get dressed, and we're like, that was so fun, wow, that was so authentic, wow. This is so great. And like we're walking through the streets of like Turkey, and it's like the part where there's no tourists, and we're like the only tourists there. We're going to eat dinner, and then all of a sudden we're like going over like the night, and we're like, wow, that was like the beginning of a porno. We could never